Hello. Um, just kind of wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about the past week or so with things that have been going on, emails that I've been getting, and hopefully be able to clear up and take care of some questions that have come up over the past week. I knew as we moved forward into this new normal that we were going to have some issues and obstacles. I fully anticipated that. And so we're going to just all kind of take a deep breath and recollect. And I'm going to explain how we're going to move forward. We had done some of this online delivery, and the fact that that was broken up every other week with face-to-face meetings, when there were questions, issues, and things like that, we could get those cleared up in face-to-face, and that is so much easier to deal with those issues when you have that ability to talk to people. It's a much quicker, obviously, much more direct way to deal with problems and issues as they arise. Now, my hope was that even though some of this or the material was going to have to go all to online, that the fact that we had some of that already would make it an easy transition. I knew it wasn't going to be a perfect transition. And so as we look to the next week, like I said, we're going to take a little bit of a step back and regroup. We had some issues this week, and I would fully expect that. But we're going to get it all smoothed out and we're going to be just fine. So, a couple of things that I want to talk through. First one is email. Now, with the email, if you are emailing me and you are not getting responses within 24 or 48 hours, then that means I did not get your email. I will always respond to you within that time frame. Typically within 24 hours. Every once in a while something happens and it gets a little bit past that. But if you have not heard from me in 48 hours, I did not get your email. And there always seems to be some hiccup at some point with my St. Luke's email. And at the beginning of the year, I had given you guys my school email for this district as kind of a backup option because I know that that happens from time to time with that St. Luke's email. So if you, like I said, I've been using that as your way of contacting me and you don't hear back from me, please, please, please use that Sioux City Schools email. And I can pretty much guarantee you, you are going to hear back from me very, very quickly, especially right now. Um, Even though we are not meeting with Sioux City Schools, my college classes there are still going and moving forward, and they are also in this online format. So I am making sure that I am in contact with that email almost on an hourly basis just to take care of any issues that are coming up on that side of things. So as I mentioned before, if you send me an email and you do not hear back, do the Sioux City Schools, and between the two, I will make sure that you get replied to within a very short time frame. That is something that I feel is very important. I know for a couple of you that has been an issue, and I just kind of wanted to clear that up as to what's happening. There are times where it will not let me log into my St. Luke's email and I can't access that. And it seems to happen once a semester. So just to kind of let you know what's going on there. But if you have to get a hold of me and you have not heard back from me, Sioux City School email, and that just kind of gives you a backup option so that we can make sure that dialogue is always moving forward, especially now more than ever. With the next couple of things that I wanted to talk about, uh, first one is the grades for the Testmos. Several people have asked me about the grades on Testmos. They felt like they had the right answers, weren't sure why it was counted wrong. And I had put some specifications on there as to how to answer those questions, whether it was supposed to be a number value to the 10th of a decimal, no letters or no words, things of that nature. And there have been some hiccups with that. And here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go back through those individually, but I am going to wait until the final due date passes. So once that due date passes, I will go back through and I will do a look at everybody's answers on an individual basis. And if I need to make adjustments, I will make adjustments. But please give me that grace period of getting to that final due date so that I can go through it all at once and I don't have to go back several times and recheck. So just to kind of clear up that, I've already emailed you a couple of you about that, but just so everybody's kind of on the same page, we are going to, I'm not just going to do the grade submission, but I'm going to open up everybody's individual answers and take a look at them. Okay. The lab that was assigned last week, there have been some questions on that and a couple of things where we've had some hangups. Some people have indicated that they are getting to the lab and they can't get it to interactive mode. A couple of things with that. At the top of the PowerPoint, when you open it up, there should be a little tab that says Enable Editing at the top. It's a white little rectangle. If you click on that, it then has another box that comes up, has some different information in it. And one of the things that it talks about is if you hit the F5 button, that it will then take that to an interactive lab activity. So if you will try those two options, hitting that Enable Editing tab and then the F5, and hopefully we can get it into interactive mode for you there. If that still doesn't work, let me know and we'll kind of go from there. But up till this point, everybody that has emailed me, once they've tried that, they have been able to get it into that interactive setting and have been just fine. So I'm hoping that that is the only fix that we need. But if it goes past that, let me know and we'll kind of go from there. With that, the data sheets. The data sheets I embedded, and again, that was a little bit of something that didn't come off 100%. So the data sheets are actually the last 3 pages of the PowerPoint. So if you are having any issues with those data sheets, that's fine. You actually don't need them because they are already embedded in the PowerPoint. And I don't know how many people would be able to print them off anyways. So when you get to the end of that PowerPoint, take a look at those 3 data sheets. It tells you what information it wants you to pull. And it kind of stair steps you through that in the PowerPoint as well, tells you what each test is going to look at and look for, and then you can write down the values that you get as you run through that urinalysis lab activity. So if it ends up being on your own sheet of paper, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's okay. Now, with both of those activities from last week, and because we had some issues, both the TestMos and the lab option or the lab activity, I'm going to extend that out another week. So you have 1 additional week to get those taken care of and get that TestMos submitted. If you've already done it and the TestMos and you've submitted it, you do not have to redo it. That's not what I'm looking for because like I said, I will go back through and look at those answers. But there were some problems with the videos and things of that nature. I had to re-upload those. And so I am just opening up another week to get everything taken care of. So hopefully that kind of eliminates any issues and things like that. Like I said, I knew going into this, especially having to try and do labs online, that we were going to run into some problems. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we'll work through them and we'll be just fine. Okay. As far as the new lesson coming up, I know on the syllabus it says that we would be moving into a new chapter. I want to take a step back and instead of throwing a new chapter on top of you when we're trying to go back and kind of get things cleaned up from last week, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to hold off on a new chapter for right now. And I am going to put in a small assignment. Should not take you an incredible amount of time. And at the same time, it will keep us moving forward. And the reason for that is it takes a look at the excretory system in a little bit different way. And as I mentioned, will keep us moving forward in the right direction and just kind of keep you thinking about what we've been talking about. So it's a short assignment. If you already have the lab and the TestMos taken care of, then it's just kind of a week to regroup and kind of pull yourself together and get used to all of this that's going on. As we look forward right now, I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be and things like that as far as face-to-face meetings. We are getting emails on a daily basis that are updating us, and I can tell you things are changing on a day by day basis. At some points, it's an hour by hour basis that things are changing on our end. So right now, looking at the schedule and the plans, kind of told you what to anticipate for this week. And if you have any questions, please continue to send me those emails. We'll get all of those kinks worked out and kind of smoothed over. But like I said, I don't want to move forward into another chapter right now. I just kind of want to get everybody back on the same page and in a good place. And then we'll get into that next chapter as we move forward next week. So I hope everybody is doing well. This is a situation unlike anything any of us have ever seen. And so just take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I hope to see you soon.